there are things I found about marijuana that I really liked, or about using marijuana that I really liked. I didn't like the smoking part because it made me cough a lot, but other than that, I found it calmed me down. It kept me calm. I also found that the main thing was it relieved my pain when I had my eye, but I still use it now because I find it's very relaxing for me. I have a sort of a routine. I get up in the morning and I eat one of my cakes. Well, it's the THC and the marijuana that's in the cakes is strong enough that it lasts me pretty much all day long. The only thing that I have trouble with marijuana is when I get too strong a THC, I get very forgetful, which I understand happens to everybody. I'll start talking and forget what I'm talking about half the time. But I've just had a lot of relaxation use. I find it mainly helps pain, but it keeps me calm. I've got a high-strung type personality where I'm always rushing and around, and this has kind of slowed me down or calmed me down to where I'm nowhere like I was in my, say, early 30s and 40s. And I feel it helps me think things out pertaining, like I had a real strong fear of death. I think everybody has a fear of death. And then under the influence of marijuana, I started looking at the thing and trying to reason it out. And I think I succeeded because I don't have that fear of dying anymore. I know I'm going to, but it just helped me realize it's not the bad thing that most people think it is or are afraid of. I'm not afraid to die now. I know I'm going to, and I just what I'm doing now is I'm trying to stay healthy, to live as long as I can, because I'm having more fun now in my old age than I ever did when I was younger. I think I was younger. I was always working or running around like crazy, but now I'm relaxed. I have my exercise room where I work out every morning on it, and I also got into gardening, which my wife and I, when we had the water shortage here in California, we decided to go for trying to save water, and we had our whole yard taken out, and we ended up with a cactus garden there, and it looks so. My wife Judy and I did this. She did most of the planning because she's the artist as far as growing is, and we made a beautiful place that it turns out that the city of Glendora came out one day, and I thought we had to get a permit to do it. Well, we didn't get a permit. We just did it on our own, the way we wanted to do it. And suddenly I see this guy come out in a city car, and he's got like a citation in his hand. I thought, oh, we're going to get it now just for not getting a license and all that. Well, it turned out he was giving me an invitation for an award for our yard. Our yard had been selected as an award, and we ended up with an award, and we have a sign out there, and people come by all the time and look at it. So I spend a lot of time out in the yard, trying to make it look make it look good, not bad, and it does look good. And people are always coming by, taking pictures and so forth. And this is how I pretty much spend my day. As I say, I am a health nut. I'm trying to keep my body. In other words, I eat now to live longer. I don't live to eat. So I'm into all sorts of health food. I'm into juicing, and I take out all kinds of crazy vitamins and things like that. And I also have my own gym, which I had built in our house there. And so my routine is I get up in the morning, I make my juice, which takes me about an hour, and the next thing that happens is I go upstairs and work out at my gym I've got about 11 pieces of equipment up there for about an hour, and then I come down and I go out in the garden for a while. And my day goes by. It's very routine-like, but I'm enjoying it. I've lost I've done a lot of traveling in the past, and I just probably, I'm sort of tired of cruises and looking at different places and countries and churches and things like that. And so I'm just happy at home right now. And as I say, I spend most of my time probably, even when I'm watching TV, I've got little pieces of equipment like little foot pedals and things like that, and I'm constantly staying in, in motion. One of the things that about marijuana, when I started getting all this thing there, I kind of liked the response that I was getting, and not my granddaughter, but her mother, who's very artistic, suggested that I make a card up. I was going to make one where it just says, tune in this station, but she came out and really made a very good card with my picture on it and everything else. And I started handing those out. Well, that's where I was really having a lot of fun. I'd go into places like Costco and Sam's Club, and I'd walk around and just hand it to the different customers. I knew when I hit the right one because they would start laughing right away. And it wasn't necessarily the young ones. At first, I was trying to hit the younger people that I saw because I thought they're more into this stuff. But then I started thinking, well, the marijuana craze really started during the Vietnam War, and these people are down in their 60s and so I started handing out cards out to them, and I was just delighted at the response. I mean, they wanted to know all about what I was doing, and I got a lot of hits or views, but I wasn't getting the sign-ups there, and that's what I was hoping to get more of. I mean, these people would look at this, and and those that I ran into a second time would tell me how great they thought it was. When I went to Costco, or no, it was Home Depot I went to, and this one, the clerk came out. I've handed him some cards before, and he, and I started handing him a card. He says, no, he says, you gave me one last time. In fact, he says, you gave me a packet. I've been handing them out. Well, that's great. Being that my 93rd birthday is coming up in just a matter of days now, I wanted to get a new card made up, and of course my daughter went in and she just changed the age on it primarily, and when I brought home, I found I had two more boxes here. Well, now I got a bargain in having the printing done where I could get 50% off. So instead of ordering, I wanted $100 worth. Well, I ended up with $200, which is about 5,000 or 6,000 cards. And I looked at all these cards, and then I came home and found I had 3 or 4 boxes of where it says age 62. And I thought, I got to get rid of these. I'll never get rid of these, just handing them out. And the bad part about handing them out is...
Age 62.
Pardon?
You mean age 92?
92. Yeah, but the bad part about handing out the cards was not the people I handed it to, but the clerks in the store. And at Costco, I remember I was in there and I was having a wonderful time. I must have gone through practically a whole box of cards just standing there giving them out. And when we were leaving the store, my wife and I, the manager standing there, and he wanted to talk to me. And I thought, oh, well. And he was very nice about it, but explained that they'd had some complaints. And I says, well, who complained? Because everybody I was giving the card to seemed pretty happy. He says, well, I can't tell you, but we don't. He was very, very polite, very nice, and so I said, look, I won't come in and give your cards out in the store, but I didn't tell him that I wouldn't give the cards out in the parking lot. So the next time I came out there, I thought, well, I don't want to get into any trouble in the store or have any bad things happen. So I got my old cards that were still saying that I was 92, not 93, and I went to the parking lot, and on the right side of the door, right by the window where they have to open the door and the handle, I would stick a card. Well, I have bad knees and I can't walk that well, but I managed to spend about 2 hours out there, and I probably gave out I'd say probably at least 500 cards. And since then, I've been doing the same thing. I've been going to different parking lots and handing out the card. But I get a lot of static from the family because it's been very hot weather out here in California. We've been in 100-degree heat, and they just didn't want me out there. So I'm not doing too much of it now. I'm hoping that maybe people will just like it and just come in on their own. I like the response. I expect to get a real negative response, and everyone that sees it seems to like it. Although I find many of the people, men and women, are more interested in my age than they are the use of that. When I was handing out the cards, I remember I was in this restaurant, and I was sitting there waiting for our turn to be called to the table, and this woman walks by, and I said, here's something you're going to like, and I hand her the card. She takes about 2 steps and just stops. She says, oh, this can't be. And she turns around and she says, you're not 92. And I show her my ID and everything else. She says, it's a fake. She didn't even want to believe me. But I love it when they tell me that. I mean, I thought I looked my age. In fact, I think the first time that I became aware that I don't look as old, or I don't look as old as I actually am, was Judy and I were at this restaurant. And I was telling her, I said, people keep saying that I look younger for my age. She says, oh, they're just trying to make you feel good and this and that. So I see the waitress that was an old waitress we knew real well, and I called her over and I said, and both Judy and I said, look, we want you to tell us what you think his age is, and we want you to be completely honest. Well, Judy happens to be 17 years younger than me, and she guessed my age younger than Judy. Well, that went over like a ton of bricks there. And as far as that, Judy no longer tells me that I don't look my age.